Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. So if you're looking to create an HTTP injector config file, you've landed on the right video. In today's video, I'll be walking you through the HTTP injector VPN app and how you can use this VPN application to create a working config file. Okay, so without any further ado, let's end this tutorial. Alright, so the first thing that you want to do is to update HTTP Injector to its latest version. Okay, so to do this, you just go to your Play Store and search for HTTP Injector. Just like so, and then you make sure it is updated to its latest version. Okay, so once you show it is updated, you just want to click on this open button right here. Alright, so this is how the app is going to show at the first stand. And a quick thought, the first thing that you want to make sure you understand with this application is the tunneling types. Okay, the tunneling methods. Alright, so here we have the tunneling type SSH, one of the most popular, or let me see, the most popular out there. And then we have V2Ray/X-ray. We have Hysteria, which is a new tunneling type, and we have Shadow Socks. Okay, and now depending on the tunnel type you select, a connection from or a connection type here is going to be available depending on this tunnel type. Okay, so let's say we've selected the SSH. Alright, we can see that we can connect through the direct method, through HTTP proxy, through TLS proxy, through stunnel, and through DNS. Alright, and if we go to V2Ray, we'll see that we have just one option that's available here, because V2Ray is being set up directly from the SSH account provider. Okay, and then if we go to Hysteria, we see the same. Shadow Socks, the same, with a few other options: SSH, stunnel, HTTP injector, and TLS/SSL obfuscation. Alright, so now let's say we select the tunnel type. I will walk you through each one step by step. Let's say we select SSH tunnel. Alright, and then what you want to make sure you take here is the direct connection. Okay, this is the most popular and probably the most stable connection type here. Alright, and then make sure that you tick this custom payload. Alright, and then you click on save, just like so. Alright, now that you've selected your tunnel type, it is time to generate your payload. Alright, so to generate a payload, just click on this payload generate button, which is here, just like so. And in this payload generate button, if you are not familiar with a payload generator, you're going to be kind of confused, and hopefully for you, I got your back. I've provided a couple of payloads that you can just use in HTTP Injector. All you need to do is to modify the server name in the payload, and then you enter the one that works well for you. And also, I provided a working host that you can get from the video description, so make sure you check that out. And then once in this payload generator, you have three principal options here. You have normal, you have split, and you have direct. Okay, so depending on the option I choose, you'll see that a few injection methods are available. Alright, and for here, depending on the request method, the injection method is going to be available just for a few of these options. Okay, so let me say I take this direct. We have the request method, connect, get, post, put, head, trace, and all the other options. Okay, but the two most popular options here, we have connect and get. Okay, you use this connect when you want to establish a direct connection to the server you're trying to inject. Okay, and for this get method, it is somehow a method that we use to get information from a server, in which case data packages. Alright, so this is the option that we typically use when generating payload. Okay, so you want to select this method, and the payload generation, the payload here, make sure it is on direct. Alright, and then now for the URL host, you just enter a working host in your country. Okay, as earlier mentioned, you can get working host from our SNI, from our host generator. Okay, I've provided a link to this one in the video description, so make sure you check that out. So what you want to enter is a working host. Let's say I enter this one. Right, and then now the request method obviously is at get. Okay, and then we have these other options right here. Okay, you need to pay a close attention to the options I'm going to tick, because these ones are the most important and should always be ticked anytime you're creating an HTTP injector config file. All right, so we come to this extra header right here. Just keep straight into it. You make sure you take this online host. This is what keeps your host active or attempts the connection, the reconnection whenever the connection gets disconnected. All right, so we have this keep alive as well, which plays the same role. This one tends to keep your connection alive in case things don't go well. Okay, in case there's a server problem or a server disconnection, something related to the server. All right, and then we have this user agent, which identifies your device to the connection. All right, this is what identifies your device in the connection. And then these are the three most important options you want to make sure are always checked anytime you're generating a payload. Okay, for this front query, you can tick it as well, but you need to be sure the host supports the front query. All right, as for these other options here, extra and dual connect, you want to leave them as they are. All right, so once you're sure about your payload generator, just click on this generate payload button. All right, now that you've generated your payload, the next thing that you want to do is to create an SSH account. Okay, so there are two ways to set up SSH in HTTP Injector. You can set up your SSH account manually, or you can use HTTP Injector pre-built servers. Okay, so there's just a handful of options for SSH servers out there. I'll provide a link to the best SSH account providers out there that you can use to create SSH accounts. Okay, so to make sure that your SSH account, SSH settings are up to date, this is where you enter your host, your port, your username, and the password. Okay, so the SSH account provider is going to provide you all these 4 details, which you just have to enter into the app. All right, now if you don't want to use the manual servers, you just want to click on this hamburger icon and tap on the server tab here, and then you'll be prompted to view and add support HTTP Injector. Just want to click on OK, and you will see a list of the available servers right here. Okay, pay a close attention to the protocols or the tunnel type they support. Okay, and you make sure you select the server depending on the tunnel type you selected earlier. As you see, Egypt SSH DNS, France the same, which obviously is what we have. SSH is what we selected while creating our config. So just click on the drop down to view the ad, give it some time to play. Okay, so view the ad, and then the next thing you want to pay attention to is the latency. Okay, so the latency is rated at 100%, and the higher the latency, the slower your connection is going to be. All right, so make sure that you select a server with a low latency. This one's latency is obviously high. Let's go to the French servers. They are high as well. You can see the spotlights here, they're indicating yellow, which means they aren't the best. Okay, so we keep on scrolling, come to the German servers. We see this one, it requires an upgrade. You can see the latency is low and its status is green. So now we go to the next one. Okay, we have the UK server. This one isn't that green, but it is better than the other options we've had earlier. Okay, so just check it and make sure you click on connect, and then for this remote proxy, make sure you tick it if it's that you want the connection to support remote proxy, or if your host supports proxy tunneling. All right, so it's typically when you activate the WebSocket option, but I wouldn't do this in my case. Okay, so I'll just take this secure shell here, just like so, And then if you say you want to take the remote proxy, you have an option here to choose between 80 and 88. Okay, so I'll just leave that one as it is, and then I click on save. All right, there we go. You can see the server has been selected here. I didn't use a manual server, but if you really need to use a manual server, which is what I would recommend you to do, you can check the link in the video description to the best SSH account providers out there and the fastest you can have. Okay, so once you're sure about everything, you just click on the start button to get everything connected. Right, so you get to do the same thing for each and every one of these methods right here. If you are to select v2ray, you just want to click on save, and then you import a v2ray config. All right, you come to the v2ray options, and then you make sure you import your v2ray settings here. All right, click on this paper tray icon and you just import, you paste it here, and then okay, the same one goes for this other one. Okay, you do the same and you paste for this hysteria. All right, and then for DNSTT, which is the slowest of all these connections, it is kind of a little bit resolving, but you also need to import that one as well. All right, and then for shadow socks, the same rule applies. Okay, and then even if you select this, let me highlight another option with the secure share. Let's say we select stunnel. All right, and then you just click on save. You can see stunnel just requires a single host, and you wouldn't need to set up a custom payload for this one. So just click on save, and then what you see here, you will notice that the server we selected earlier supports SSL and SSH tunnel. So this SSL is the S tunnel or SNI tunnel, and the SSH is the one we created earlier. Okay, it's a payload we generated earlier. So this is actually a very good server because it supports a few or a couple of tunneling options. Okay, so for this server name identification, what you want to enter here, you just want to enter your working host. Okay, let me say I enter this one. Okay, this is a working SNI host, and this TLS version, make sure you leave it to default. Okay, if you don't want to leave it to default, you can also select the TLS version 1.1, which is the most stable. Right, and if you don't want to go through that, you just want to leave it to default, and then click on save. Now all you have to do is just click on the start button, go to your log, and there we go, we are connected. Okay, so if I come to this log here, things don't always go well in every case. Okay, so the first time that a connection is requested to the server from the server, you can obviously get disconnected from the server, or you can just lose the connection, as you can see here in this premature connection close. Okay, right here, and you can see the host was, the app started reconnecting immediately the connection was closed. Okay, and then we had a handshake, but it still got lost. So what did the server do? What did the host do? It still got entered in the reconnection mode. Okay, and this time it went well. You can see the SSL handshake was successful with the host key, everything, and then we got connected. Right, so that's how you get to set up HTTP Injector for free internet. Okay, this rule applies to any of the tunneling methods you select in the HTTP Injector mobile app. Okay, it isn't complicated to use, it's very easy and simple. And if this is a little of hassle to you, you can always contact us through our email that we've provided in our site. Okay, so I will best help you and guide you on how you can use this app to safely connect to the internet. All right, okay guys, thank you for watching. If you found it actually helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and tap the notification bell down below to not miss our upcoming video. Okay, I'll be teaching you, or I'll emphasize more on setting a connection through the SNI tunneling mode in HTTP Injector. Okay, so I catch you in the next video.